The sun hung low, casting a burnished copper glow across the clouds as Flight 907 carved its way through the late evening sky. Inside the cabin, it was a picture of routine normalcy. Passengers dozing, scrolling through screens, chatting softly. Flight attendants glided up and down the aisle with practiced ease. The air smelled faintly of reheated dinners and the sharp citrus of cleaning wipes. No one, not a single person aboard, felt the subtle shift when the aircraft first sighed. It was the tiniest lurch, like a heartbeat skipped, almost indistinguishable from turbulence. A businessman with loosened tie paused his email but shrugged it off. A teenager listening to music thought it was just the beat drop. A mother rocking her baby whispered, "SHH, it's okay," without knowing why. But then came the second tremor stronger. And the third. The overhead bins rattled. A metallic groan echoed through the cabin like a distant, reluctant howl. People straightened. People looked around. People sensed what humans always do, that something was wrong. Inside the cockpit. Captain Elena Reyes sat rigid at the controls, her jaw tightening as warning lights began to blink across the dashboard. Her first officer, Ahmed Malik, leaned forward in disbelief as the fuel indicators plummeted in a way that shouldn't have been physically possible. Is this a software glitch? Reyes muttered. Malik shook his head. I know. No, that's impossible. We did the checks. We topped off in Manila. We had. The lights turned red. A sharp, piercing alarm filled the cockpit. Reyes's stomach dropped. Engine 1 pressure falling. Malik's voice cracked. Engine 2 as well. The right engine sputtered first. A sickening cough, like metal being choked. The aircraft shuddered violently, nose dipping. People screamed. Oxygen masks jerked free and dangled like pale, swaying pendulums. Then the captain's voice, urgent but steady, pierced every speaker on board. Ladies and gentlemen, we've lost both engines. Panic surged like a wave crashing through the cabin. A woman grabbed her husband's arm so tightly her knuckles whitened. A young boy clung to his father's sleeve, eyes wide and shining. Someone shouted, "We're going to die." Society's thin veneer of calm cracked all at once. The plane pitched downward through thickening clouds, the horizon tilting. With no engine thrust, the aircraft no longer sliced the sky, it fell through it. In the back row, an elderly man prayed in Arabic, voice shaking. A flight attendant stumbled but fought to remain calm, trying to help passengers with oxygen masks while her own breath came fast and shallow. A baby screamed with a raw, primal terror that cut through every other sound. Captain Reyes fought the yoke with both hands, sweat beating at her temple. We've lost altitude control. Hydraulics sluggish. We're gliding barely. Malik. Scanned the remaining instruments, hands trembling. Fuel. God, this can't be right. 0. Reyes stared at him. 200 souls on board. How does a commercial jet lose every drop of fuel mid-flight? But there was no answer. Only plummeting altitude. The clouds grew darker around them, swallowing the aircraft. The windows rattled. The fuselage moaned. The emergency lighting flickered like dying fireflies. Malik began desperately flipping through the emergency. Restart protocols. If we can get one engine spinning, just one, it won't hold without fuel, Reyes said, her voice low. We're dead weight. He didn't reply. Because deep down, he knew she was right. She opened the intercom again. Brace. Positions are not necessary yet, but please remain seated with your belts fastened. Flight attendants, secure the cabin. Asterisk fear crackled through the air. But in that fear was something else waiting, hanging, tightening like a noose. Asterisk Flight 907 pierced through the final layer of cloud, revealing the world below, a jagged expanse of mountains and deep valleys stretching endlessly, bathed in fading light, beautiful, deadly. Asterisk the plane was too low, too heavy, and powerless. Asterisk Reyes swallowed hard. We have to find somewhere anything we can put this plane down. Asterisk Malik zoomed the terrain map. Nearest airstrip is... God, it's too far. We'll never reach it. Asterisk Reyes didn't speak. She didn't need to. The truth sat between them like a living thing. They were running out of sky. And then, behind them, a calm, almost gentle voice cut through the chaos. I can help. Both pilots turned sharply. A woman they hadn't noticed before, thin, travel-worn jacket, dark eyes steady and strangely composed, stood in the cockpit doorway. She had slipped forward during the confusion. Her presence felt out of place, yet oddly unshakable. Reyes snapped, "Ma'am, this area is restricted." But the woman didn't flinch, didn't step back, didn't even blink. Asterisk instead, she spoke softly, with a certainty that should have been impossible in a falling aircraft. Asterisk, you've lost fuel. You're losing altitude. You have maybe 3 minutes before drag wins completely. Asterisk Malik stammered. How do you know? She looked directly at them. Because, she said, I've done this before. And the cockpit went silent, utterly, terrifyingly silent. For a heartbeat, no one in the cockpit moved. The only sound was the shrill, repetitive alarm screaming at them that altitude was bleeding away at a catastrophic rate. Yet somehow, the woman's calm presence carved a strange stillness through. The panicked asterisk Captain Reyes was the first to react. Ma'am, you can't be up here. Return to your seat immediately. Asterisk, but the woman didn't budge. She stood centered in the narrow doorway, hands relaxed at her sides, eyes scanning the flight deck with a familiarity that made Malik's skin prickle. Asterisk, her gaze moved over the flickering screens, the wobbling needles, the scarlet warnings. Then she stepped forward. Asterisk Reyes snapped again, sharper this time. I said return to your asterisk, no time, the woman interrupted, her voice quiet but firm. She pointed at the navigation display. You're tracking west. That's terrain, mountains. If you correct to course 270, you'll hit a ridge in 90 seconds. Malik glanced at the terrain map and felt his stomach freefall. She was right. Asterisk. He looked at Reyes. Reyes looked at him. Asterisk. How could she possibly know that? Asterisk. The woman leaned over Malik's shoulder as if she belonged there. Turn 5 degrees east. Asterisk Reyes frowned. East leads us deeper into the valley. We need altitude, not asterisk. Altitude is gone, the woman said sharply, not unkindly, but with the finality of someone stating gravity itself. You're gliding. That means you only control where, not if you land. Her words hit like cold water. Malik swallowed. Who are you? Asterisk. She didn't answer immediately. Instead, her eyes moved over the engine displays, both dark, lifeless. She touched the fuel gauge with a fingertip as if confirming something she already knew. Fuel starvation. Dual flameout. Hydraulics partially responsive. You've got lift for maybe 2.5 more minutes. After that, she didn't finish. She didn't need to. Asterisk Reyes took a half step toward her, anger struggling with fear in her voice. You're not flight crew. You're trying to take control of this cockpit in the middle of an emergency. That is a federal asterisk. I was flight crew. The woman cut in quietly. The sentence landed in the cramped space with an almost physical weight. Malik blinked. Was? Asterisk, the woman sat in the vacant jump seat as if muscle memory guided her. Her posture straightened. Her fingers hovered near the panel, not touching it, but knowing exactly where every switch lived. Asterisk, Rias's voice softened despite herself. You were a pilot? Asterisk, the woman nodded once. Commercial. Instructor rated? Emergency protocols, specialized. Something flickered behind her eyes, an echo of pain, or memory, or both. Malik instinctively leaned forward. Which airline? Asterisk, she ignored the question. More importantly, I've landed a jet without engines before. Reyes and Malik froze. The cockpit suddenly felt too small, too warm, too loud, too quiet. Asterisk, Reyes's voice came out as a whisper. There's only been one case of asterisk yes, she said. I know. Asterisk, the sharp alarm chimed again. Altitude. Warning. The plane dipped another degree. The nose fought to stay up. Asterisk, Reyes snapped out of her stupor and grabbed the intercom. Brace for potential hard landing, cabin crew. Asterisk, no, the woman interrupted. Not yet. Not until we line up with something that won't tear this plane into pieces. Asterisk, Reyes's patience cracked. We don't have an airport. Asterisk, you don't need an airport, the woman said. You need a flat surface long enough with minimal obstacles. A dead engine landing doesn't care if it's concrete or dirt. Asterisk, Malik looked at the valley spreading beneath them. There is no flat surface, just mountains. Asterisk, not mountains. She corrected. A valley, and valleys have floors. Asterisk, Reyes turned to her fully now. You think you can find one? Asterisk, no. She pointed at the map. I already have, right here. An unfinished airstrip. Construction site. Abandoned a decade ago, but the foundation grade was nearly completed. Asterisk, Malik enlarged the area she indicated. To his shock, the pixelated terrain shifted to show exactly what she described. A long, straight scar in the earth. Asterisk, you've seen this? Malik asked. I've landed there, she replied. Reyes stared. You've been in this exact region? This exact route? Asterisk. Yes. Her voice lowered. Under worse circumstances. That sentence tightened the air around them like a noose. Malik asked softly, What happened? Asterisk, she inhaled slow, controlled, almost painful. We lost an engine, then the second. Weather was worse. And she closed her eyes for a brief second. We didn't have enough runway. Asterisk, a silence heavy enough to bend metal settled. In the cockpit, Asterisk, Reyes felt a chill run down her arms. You survived? Her eyes opened. Dark, steady. I survived. Not everyone else did. Asterisk, no one spoke. Even the alarms felt quieter for a moment, like they respected the gravity of her confession. Asterisk. Then the woman sat forward, her voice sharpening, regaining purpose. Listen to me. You have 200 people depending on you. We don't have time for fear or protocol. We have time for one thing. Decisions. Asterisk, Reyes stared at her. She wasn't sure if she felt threatened, relieved, or both. Asterisk, finally, Reyes exhaled slowly. If we turn east, what next? Asterisk. The woman looked straight ahead, her voice calm, eerily sure. Asterisk. Then, she said, I show you how to land a powerless jet in a valley. The cockpit seemed to tilt even though the aircraft was steadying as much as a powerless jet could. Air rushed across the fuselage with a deep, hollow roar, a sound like the sky itself was dragging the plane down. Asterisk, Reyes swallowed. Hard, staring at the woman now seated in the jump seat, her posture alert and unshakably calm. If you're helping, she said slowly, you need to tell us everything. Name, airline, experience. Asterisk, the woman's fingers twitched near the Controls not touching, but remembering. My name is Mara Vance, she said. Former captain, National Air Corridor. 10 years commercial. 5 years training emergency landings. Her voice tightened. The last one didn't end well. Malik felt a cold shiver. The incident? Sierra 9 crash? That was you? Mara's eyes flicked away. Not now. And perhaps she was right, because a new alarm burst across the cockpit. Terrain. Pull up. The valley was rising to meet them fast. Too fast. Reyes yanked the yoke back, straining. We're losing too much altitude. Yes, Mara said calmly, because you're fighting the glide instead of using it. Reyes snapped. We're not birds. No, Mara said evenly. Birds don't weigh 70 tons. They also don't panic. That hit harder. Then the alarms. Malik's voice trembled. She's not wrong. Our angle of attack is too high. We're bleeding speed. Mara nodded. You want the nose slightly down. Feel the glide. Don't choke it. Reyes hesitated, but only for half a breath. Then she eased the yoke forward. The aircraft steadied, the violent shaking softening into a more controlled descent. It still fell, but now it fell with purpose. Mara exhaled, as if she'd been waiting for that moment. Good. Now listen carefully. We're going to make a hard right bank in about 10 seconds to line up with the strip. Malik zoomed the map. The unfinished airstrip is still more than a mile off. We're dropping too fast. We have lift, Mara said. Enough. But only if we don't do anything stupid. The plane lurched. Passengers screamed. A luggage compartment popped open with a metallic burst. Rhea steadied her breathing. Give me the angle. Mara leaned forward, scanning the horizon through the windshield. Bank on my mark. We overshoot, we hit the ridge. We undershoot, we hit the trees. Malik muttered, love the options. Better than the ground. Mara replied. Reyes found herself almost smiling, not out of humor, but out of some strange instinctive trust building in the chaos. Mara raised her voice. Turning in 3, 2, 1. Now Reyes banked the aircraft hard. The plane groaned, metal straining, wind hammering against the wings. Passengers cried out as their world tilted sideways. Malik watched the instruments. Where? Losing speed. We'll get it back, Mara said. Let the nose drop a hair, just a hair. Reyes complied. The plane dipped, gained a breath of speed, stabilized. There, Mara said quietly. Feel that? The glide path just smoothed. Reyes blinked. How did you? Because I've lived this before, Mara murmured. I know what jetliners sound like when they're about to stop flying. Something in the way she said that made Malik feel the cabin pressurized with dread. But there was no time to question it. Mara pointed out the window. There, straight. Ahead. The valley floor opened up between the mountains, a long, narrow stretch of barren earth carved out in a forgotten construction project. A strip of land that didn't look remotely like a runway, but in their situation was a gift from fate. Reyes stared. That's small. Small is better than nothing, Mara said. And nothing is what we'll have in 90 seconds. Malik leaned closer to the windshield. We're coming in high. Good, Mara said. High means adjustable. Low means dead. The brutal honesty of that statement froze Reyes's breath for a moment, but Mara was already moving mentally. Through the steps. Flaps at 15, she commanded. Flaps 15. Asterisk. Trim nose slightly down. Don't fight the glide. Asterisk. Gun. Asterisk. Mura's voice grew sharper, quicker. Kill the left hydraulic line. You need more responsive roll control. Asterisk. Malik froze. If we do that, we risk. Asterisk. It'll save your landing, Mara cut in. Do it. Asterisk. Riaz nodded. Do it, Ahmed. Asterisk. Malik hesitated only a second before flipping the switch. The aircraft jolted violently before settling into a tighter control. Asterisk. Mara continued. Wind is pushing from the right. Compensate 2 degrees. Riaz made the adjustment. The ground was growing, rushing, surging upward. Asterisk. Mara said, when we touch down, the nose will want to dip. Don't let it. Fight it like it's trying to kill you, because it is. Riaz tightened her grip. Ready? Mara asked. No, Riaz said honestly. Good, Mara replied. Fear means you're awake. The strip loomed closer, rough, uneven, but long enough for a miracle. Malik whispered, Here we go. Asterisk. Passengers held hands. Flight attendants braced. The aircraft roared without engines, an impossible, wild, silent roar. Asterisk. Mara leaned forward, voice cutting through every alarm, every scream, every heartbeat. Asterisk. Hold it steady. Keep her level. The valley swallowed the plane, and they descended into the moment where everything, every life, every choice would either shatter or survive. The earth rushed upward like a rising tide of darkness and dust. The unfinished airstrip sprawled a headlong, cracked, uneven, littered with abandoned equipment and old tire ruts. It was never meant for a landing, especially not for a 70-ton jet falling from the sky, but it was all they had in the cockpit. Riaz's heart hammered so loudly it drowned out the alarms. Malik whispered prayers under his breath. And beside them, Mara Vance leaned forward like someone staring into a memory she never wanted to revisit. Asterisk. Level out, level out. Mara murmured. Asterisk. Riaz eased the yoke with trembling but precise hands. The aircraft wavered, dipping too low, then rising just enough. Asterisk. Too much flare. Malik warned. Hold it, Mara said quietly. The plane's nose fought to dive, gravity dragging it hungrily. The altitude tape ticked downward in rapid, merciless steps. Asterisk. Passengers braced in the cabin, arms locked around their heads, eyes squeezed closed. Some sobbed. Some whispered names of loved ones they hoped to see again. Some stared blankly, too, overwhelmed to do anything at all. Asterisk felt sweat sting her eyes. I don't have enough lift, Asterisk. Yes, you do, Mara said firmly. Trust the glide. Trust the angle. Trust yourself. Riaz's hands steadied. The ground came up fast. Asterisk. Brace. Malik shouted into the intercom. Brace! Brace! Asterisk. Mara whispered, almost too softly to hear. Hold her. Hold! Asterisk. The wheels slammed into the earth with a bone-shattering impact that cracked the silence of the valley. The entire plane jerked violently, the fuselage rattling as metal screamed against dirt. Sparks shot from beneath the belly where landing gear met unprepared ground. Asterisk. Passengers were thrown forward in their belts, screams smothered by the thunder of impact. Asterisk. Riaz fought the yoke with all her strength. The nose pitched down savagely. Asterisk. Pull, Mara shouted. Don't let it dig. Asterisk. Riaz yanked back, muscles burning, teeth clenched. The nose fought her hard, but lifted inches above the ground before it could spear into the earth. Asterisk. The aircraft skidded wildly across the uneven strip, bouncing over dips and ridges. A wing clipped a mound of dirt, sending a spray of rocks across the valley floor. Asterisk. Malik shouted, Speed's dropping. Asterisk. Good, Mara said. Let it bleed. Reyes focused only on control small corrections, tightening her grip, fighting. Every instinct to overcompe and say t. Come on, she whispered to the plane. Come on, come on. The jet skidded another 100 feet. Another 50. Dirt blasted up around the windows, turning the world outside into a brown haze. Then, silence. A long, impossible silence. The plane had stopped. For a moment, the entire world held its breath. No one moved. Not the passengers. Not the crew. Not even the wind dared disturb the dust settling around the wreck. Reyes's chest heaved. Her fingers remained locked around the yoke even though the plane was no longer moving. Malik stared ahead, stunned, tears glistening in his eyes. We made it. Reyes laughed a choked, breathless sound. We did. But when she turned to look at Mara, she found the woman already rising from her jump seat. Mara's expression wasn't triumphant. It wasn't relieved. It was something heavier, quiet, reflective, touched with an ache that only she understood. Reyes swallowed. You saved everyone. Mara shook her head. No, you flew the plane. You made the decisions. Her voice softened. I just reminded you what was possible. Malik wiped at his eyes. Still? Without you, without me, Mara interrupted gently. You would have found another way. Pilots do that. They find ways. But Reyes stepped toward her, refusing the deflection. Mara, thank you. For the first time since she'd stepped into the cockpit, Mara's composure cracked slightly. She exhaled a slow, painful breath. I didn't get to save everyone the first time, she whispered. But today, at least today, it was different. Before Reyes could respond, a flight attendant burst into the cockpit, tears streaming. Captain, everyone is alive. There are injuries, but no fatalities. No fatalities. Reyes's knees nearly buckled in relief. Malik looked at Mara with awe. You gave those families another tomorrow. You know that? Mara's eyes softened. That's enough for me. Rescue crews would be hours away. Passengers were already filing out into the open, shaken but breathing the air of a life they nearly lost. Reyes turned back toward Mara, but Mara wasn't there. She was already stepping down the aisle, moving past relief families and tearful travelers who didn't yet understand what had saved them. She moved quietly, almost like a shadow, toward the open door and the fading sunlight. Reyes hurried after her, calling, Mara! But when she reached the doorway, Mara was already walking away down the rough earth toward the far edge of the valley. Wait, Reyes shouted. At least give me a number to contact you. Mara paused only once, her back still turned. Her silhouette looked impossibly small against the vast mountains. You don't need to contact me, she said softly. You just need to remember that you did this. You saved them. Then she walked on, swallowed by the golden light of the evening, and Captain Elena Reyes stood there, watching the woman who appeared out of nowhere, save 200 lives, and vanished just as silently, leaving behind questions, gratitude, and a story no one would ever forget, a miracle wrapped in mystery, a fast story, survivor who had become a savior, a ghost of the sky.